So the Crysis 3 multiplayer open beta was released recently on the 29th of January 2013 for the PlayStation 3, the Xbox 360, and of course, the PC. I'm obviously playing this on PC because PC is the significantly better gaming platform, just not just graphically, but I find it significantly easier to game with a keyboard and mouse than with a controller. But that's neither here nor there. Originally, when I started playing the beta, I was getting quite a bit of micro stuttering and quite a bit of a frame rate drop. I've since reinstalled the NVIDIA beta drivers, which were released specifically for the Crysis 3 multiplayer open beta, and that's since fixed the issues. So if you playing this game on PC and you do have some micro stuttering issues, perhaps you should download and install, or perhaps even reinstall the beta drivers. NVIDIA have released their beta drivers at the time of filming. It's 3.13.96, and also AMD have released drivers for their Radeon series of graphics cards that make Crysis 3 Open Beta compatible. So, my in-game settings, I'll just put an overlay on the screen. As you can see, I'm running everything on very high, including the textures. Not quite sure if the textures are full resolution in this particular version of the game, it being a beta and all. But the game looks significantly better than Crysis 2. Crysis 2, in a lot of ways, it's quite consoleized graphics. There wasn't a lot of detail, and as you can see on the screen now, even though it's sort of a kill cam, you can see all the detail and vegetation, and it's really quite impressive to look at. So I'm running this on very high. I'm in game probably getting about 50-60 FPS. It sort of goes further to my doubt that I don't really think that this is running at very high. Very high is equivalent to Ultra with Crysis 2 and with other games using sort of CryEngine. But I have a GTX 670 that's factory overclocked. It's a Gigabyte GTX 670. I have an unboxing video, which I put an annotation on the screen right now, you should see. It is factory overclocked, so it performs like a 680 reference 680, and that's a quote from Bjorn 3D, the reviewed it. It said my GTX 670 has a performance deviation compared to a 680 with less than 1% of deviation. So essentially I've got a GTX 670, a GTX 680, but for a GTX 670 money. So the gameplay. This, as you might be able to tell, is airport, hence all the planes and all the fuselage scattered across the map. This game mode is not Hunter game mode. Hunter game mode is one of the two game modes in Crysis 3 multiplayer open beta, and one of the 8 is part of it. This particular one is Crash Site. Crash Site continues on from being in Crysis 2. There have been some additions to Crash Site in Crysis 3. For example, now you can pull off the exteriors of the crash pod sites. You get sort of like a riot shield. And there's a pinger, as you can see here, which I'm just about to take down. And that pinger is basically a 3-leg tripod turret that any players can get in and drive about the map to, defend the crash sites. It's usually the best purpose for it, and that's a bit of an addition. I originally thought that the pinger just sort of felt a little bit out of place, but it can actually be quite a critical addition when it comes to combat here. So what do I actually think of the Crysis 3 multiplayer open beta? How does it compare to Crysis 2 multiplayer? Well, for starters, it's great to see Crytek actually pushing the limit when it comes to PC games. If you're not already aware, and I sort of touched on this in the beginning, to be able to play Crysis 3 multiplayer open beta, you must have a DirectX 11 capable graphics card. So that means an NVIDIA 400 series or up, or an ATI or an AMD Radeon 5000 series card or up. If you have a DirectX 10, so a DirectX 10 card, so something from the NVIDIA 200 series, like a 280 or 285, or if you have something from the 4000 series from ATI, a DirectX 10 card, you will not be able to run the Crysis 3 multiplayer open beta, nor will you be able to run the game when it comes out on February the 19th, 2012, or February the 22nd, I think, in the UK. I've read sort of around on the forums that a lot of people aren't happy about the Crytek dropping DirectX 10 support. I have read that the same people have been saying, oh, they know they shouldn't have dropped DirectX 10 support. You know, I appreciate them dropping DirectX 9. DirectX 9's old. But the thing is, CryEngine doesn't have support for DirectX 10. CryEngine 3 only runs in DirectX 9 and DirectX 11 modes. So to remove DirectX 9 support, it means they also have to remove DirectX 10 support. And there's a whole number of reasons why DirectX 11 only. It comes down to assets things. And again, what you just saw on the screen, now with the user interface, it's a lot sort of smooth. You saw that now you can send friend requests right through the scoreboard, which is a nice feature. Crysis 2 didn't have that, and it really needed it. And I remember looking at the scoreboard, not being able to interact in Crysis 2, and that I found that quite disappointing. So, what additions I do like? They have changed Sprint, and they've changed the energy system. As you'll be able to see in a sec, you'll see that in the bottom right hand corner there are now 2 energy bars. One is for armor and the other is for stealth. In Crysis 2 there was 1 energy pool that would deplete if you used Sprint. If you went to armor, you went to cloak, it would use that 1 energy pool. So now there's 2 energy pools. I didn't like this at first when I first saw this in the alpha and in some various videos that were shown before the alpha, but I'm growing on it. I do like the fact that there's now unlimited sprint. It does speed up the gameplay quite a bit because you no longer have to wait for your suit energy to recharge, even though it's still not going to stop you from going into a crash site and just getting mowed down. But it definitely does speed up the gameplay, and I think that's definitely a good thing. Another addition is that you'll be able to see here, I typed capture the crash site incorrectly, and now there is a profanity filter, which Crysis 2 did not have in chat. So if you type in any profanities, what Crytex defines profanities, then it will block it out. Another addition they've made is now Air Stomp, which was an optional power perk in Crysis 2, is now default for everyone. All players have Air Stomp equipped, which is good to see because Air Stomp by itself wasn't really that much of a compelling perk, so it's good to see that included. The bow, which you don't see here, that's in hunter mode, is very fun to use. It is quite challenging at times, and sometimes you just can't get a shot off, but it's something that is really enjoyable to use. And every time I'm in hunter mode, I spawn as a cell trooper, I'm like, oh no, I want to be a hunter. So I think I'm gonna really enjoy that game mode with the other maps when it comes out in February. Some things that I don't like and I sort of have slight issues with. Split energy bars, I think that's I watched an interview with one of the Crytek developers, and they said, you know, that the information they had is players from Crysis 2 were using up all their energy trying to run into a crash site. They'd run into or like an objective or an area, and they'd end up with having no energy and they'd just get mowed down. So they've said, okay, we'll put in 2 energy bars. We'll have 1 for armor, 1 for cloak. So there's the remove the sort of complexity. But I think energy management in Crysis 2 is a very key thing. It's if you're not able to manage your suit energy properly in Crysis 2, you're going to get taken down pretty easily. And that's probably quite a lot of the reason why a lot of people left the game and stopped playing. It's because it did have quite a bit of a sharp learning curve, but I stuck with it, and I really enjoyed Crysis 2. Another issue that I found is that Cloak is a little bit difficult to see. This is mainly in Hunter mode, particularly on Museum, because the Cloak outline, as you can kind of see on that player right there, it's sort of there's sort of a red sort of glow to it, but on the Museum map that can be quite difficult to see because Museum is quite sort of dark, sort of browns and this sort of reddish brown colour, so it can be quite difficult to see Cloak. I think Cloak should be changed to be a little bit more visible. Yeah, you can see it just down the hallway there. That's probably in the best case scenario, but when a person in a nanosuit is in Cloak and just stationary, it can be a little bit difficult to see, so I think maybe that should be changed up a bit. Another thing which I'm kind of disappointed at seeing is Nanovision is actually now back in Crysis 3. For a while it seemed like Nanovision wasn't going to be in Crysis 3, but it is in the open beta. It's kind of a bit disappointing. It just means people, like in Crysis 2, everyone used Nanovision. Everyone used Nanovision. It's not a particularly good thing to look at. I mean, Crysis 2 was a good-looking game, even in multiplayer. And all you'd see in the kill cams is just this heat thermal vision of like grey and red. That's all you'd see. It's a little bit jarring in comparison to the good quality graphics that CryEngine 3 is able to deliver. And I think that's pretty much it. It's just about time to finish the video. This is my first commentary sort of style of video. I do want to do more, but if you did like the video and you do want to see more, if you could click the like button, it would probably be the easiest way for me to know. Also, you know, any suggestions or any sort of tips or things I could do differently next time, you can leave a comment in the comment section below. And that would be greatly appreciated, because I want to do a lot of Crysis 3 content this year and other games. DayZ standalone. I'm going to have some spare time to do that this year, so hopefully I can grow my YouTube channel a little bit. And thanks for watching.